I had been around other teachers, so I had been looking, so, but no, and this is what my next story will be about, is because really that is true, that we have Srila Prabhupada in our heart, and he's present in his teachings and is present in our lives culturally. He taught me how to eat. He taught me how to cook. He taught me how to clean. He taught me how to raise my babies. He taught me how to breastfeed. I didn't ever think of it, and he had us breastfeed our babies, I learned everything. So, but I wanted to tell you a story about when I was in Vrindavan in 1975, 76. I was so happy I was there in that time period. It was a difficult time right then for I think for everyone really. But I was really happy because I was in Vrindavan, and it was such a goal for me to go to India, because the first group of devotees that went, I was just like so disappointed, and but I'm like, okay, okay. And then it was 1974, I think, or 75, and then Prabhupada was in LA, and that's when we went, Stoka Krishna went to Srila Prabhupada and said, we want to go to India. And Prabhupada said, go to Vrindavan. So we went, and Stoka Krishna ended up being, helping a lot with the temple management there and doing a lot of wonderful service. And anyhow, I was just very grateful to be there. But it was very difficult sometimes to have any personal contact with Srila Prabhupada. It was like there was it's by that time he had like his army around him or something of captains and generals and all that, So like and especially for me, because I was a mom. I had two little children, and so in India with two babies, it was pretty time. It's like I had to take care of things, and milk, even just to keep milk and all of those things. So. And I was used to doing a lot of service. I did Sankirtan, I did puppet shows, I did so many things in Los Angeles. So when I was there in Vrindavan, it was different, I was taking care of the babies, and you couldn't even go on the altar. You couldn't go in the kitchen. It was very different for me. But, like I said, I was so happy to be there, and I did parikrams and so many things that I had the time to do. And Srila Prabhupada was there. And like I say, I would go by his door and I'd see there's just no way to get in there. You just forget it, And so I go to the temple room and stuff, and we did hear lectures every day, so that was awesome. And then there was this one evening, and I was walking from Sundar Arti, and I'm walking from the temple room up in Srila Prabhupada's quarters right there, and where the guest house was at that time, where now the restaurant is. So I was walking that way, and I look into Prabhupada's quarters, and there's nobody there. And Srila Prabhupada's there, but nobody at the door, nobody there. And I'm like, this is my chance. This is it, I'm very glad I'm like that, actually. But anyhow, I looked, and I went, oh my gosh, I'm going in there now. And so I went up, and I walked in the door, and there was only one brahmachari who was leaned up against the wall, and he was kind of covered in his chadar, and he was chanting japa. And I'm going, wow, this is so quiet. And Srila Prabhupada was just up there at his desk, and he was reading, and just there at his desk, he had his leg up, one leg up, and he was just sitting and reading and doing different things. And so I sat down in the middle of the room, and just started chanting. There's a pre-story to this, because I was in Mayapur and I just was rejected by one of the important people there. Some kind of confusion that I won't get into, but I felt rejected. Okay, just so you know, and I felt like there's just no way I could ever please Srila Prabhupada, because I'm a woman and because I have children, and I really believe that at that time, that's how I was feeling, okay? And wherever any of that, okay, and we know the history of everything, so, so anyhow, so I was like, okay, I felt kind of hopeless. And there I was sitting there in the room with Srila Prabhupada, and I felt that feeling. And I thought, this is the time that I can talk with Prabhupada about that. Because I don't want him, because what I had heard is that this one devotee had told me that he told Prabhupada that I was lazy. And so I was really brokenhearted, that I would think that Prabhupada would think I was lazy. Not that I'm not lazy, because now I know I am. But then I didn't feel like I was lazy. And I was really angry and also felt hopeless because there was just no way, that I was going to please Prabhupada or do anything right, at that point. So anyhow, Srila Prabhupada was there, and I went up to his desk. I had the courage. I mustered it up. And I said to Srila Prabhupada, I just folded my hands, and Prabhupada came up and smiled. And so I knew I could speak. And I said, Srila Prabhupada, and I got out a few words, and then I just started crying completely, like, whoa! I mean, it was deep crying, like I should have been in therapy or something, But Prabhupada sat there, and I was crying, Prabhupada, I'm a woman. There's no way I can please you. I'm a woman, and I have children, and they say I'm lazy now. And Srila Prabhupada, at that point, when he heard that, then I saw his arm go back, and he did this smile. It was like the universe or something. And when he did that smile, I just, oh my gosh, how could he think that was a smile thing, Because I was so sad. But that smile was like, he embraced me, with that smile. And then he said to me, he came close and he goes, are you reading my books? That's what he said to me. Are you reading my books? And I was reading his books, because that's one thing that moms can do, okay? And when you're breastfeeding, everything is you could read books, okay? So I was reading, I was all the way up to the book that he was finished with, and at that time it was probably like 7th canto, 6th canto or something, 5th canto, I don't even know. But it wasn't very much. But the thing was I read them. And so I said to Prabhupada, yes, Srila Prabhupada, I am reading your books. And he said, then you are pleasing me. Yeah. And I mean, you could imagine, and I just was so grateful, and I just felt so much love. That's why I say the unconditional love changed my life.